All right, boys, buckle up for this one. This is a suspicious rebrand of Mark Zuckerberg brought to us by Patrick CC. And boy, oh, this is going to be a wild one. That's for sure.
Mark Zuckerberg thinks he has you fooled. He has spent the past years suspiciously transforming his image from the geeky Silicon Valley genius to a red-pilled alpha bro. And all it took was one conversation on the Joe Rogan podcast.
To be fair, on the Joe Rogan experience, Joe did clap back at him and make a great, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing right now what he said, but he was like pretty much saying amongst the lines like, oh, this big bad guy, then he comes over here and he's trying to act like he's one of us now and flips face and type shit. I don't know exactly what the quote was, but he looked dead into his eyes, bro. Dead into his eyes. And Zuck knew what the fuck he was talking about. And he didn't blink or anything. He didn't smile. It was just that, yeah, I know type of stare. And also, he's fucking just hanging out at the inauguration. So, I mean, I don't blame people for hating on Trump. You know, he's got all those billionaires right behind him, which people are scared of oligarchy. I think it's already been that way for a long time. And now that people are just, you know, kind of, let's be frank, they're being transparent with it more now. And they're scared of it. They're like, oh, this is bad. It's like, you didn't say it was bad back when y'all did the same shit. Like, I don't know. But I have a lot of thoughts on this whole situation. Let's keep going.
To expose the evil intentions behind Zuck 2.0. The third richest man in the world wants you to think he is just like you. He dresses like you. He works out like you. He likes to have fun and be silly like you. He even loves his family just like you do. Oh, and most importantly, after decades of harvesting your data and controlling the information shown on your social media feed, he now stands for lower censorship and celebrating your First Amendment right on his platforms. He wants to gain back your trust, but why? Today we are going to uncover what is really going on behind Mark Zuckerberg.
It's called optics, baby.
His new persona. Yeah. Isn't it ironic that a seemingly antisocial, unrelatable Harvard genius created the framework for the future of human social interaction?
It's honestly wild the evolution he's had, because watching, and I don't know how accurate The Social Network is, which is an amazing movie. If you've not seen that, dude, go and watch it. The Social Network is phenomenal. But it is weird to see like his upbringing and, you know, him kind of like shit posting and creating what's it called, face swapper or a faster, or I forgot what it was called, but still creating that, you know, pretty much one of the earliest versions of a dating app, just swipe right, swipe left type shit, scale a girl, you know, 1 through 10. It's wild to see what he's become. It truly is.
If you ever heard Mark have a conversation, you wouldn't exactly mistake him for a socialite.
You seem to be replacing Larry and Sergey as the people out here who everyone's talking about. You're just staring at me.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Because of his awkward demeanor, frequent glitches in speech, and beady, soulless eyes, some people legitimately believe he is not human, that he is some sort of crash test dummy with AI software installed. And look, even though I try to keep my videos mostly objective and fact-based, I also love me a good conspiracy theory. And Zuckerberg not being a real human has way too much evidence for you to not even consider it just a little bit.
But I think the better one is Elon being an alien. That one makes complete sense. Like, and obviously it's a fucking conspiracy, and I don't actually believe that. But like, if you're writing a book, that's a viable character arc right there. It really is.
It is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am.
I forgot about this one. I hope they show him drinking water.
Human still,
I hope so.
But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
Zuckerberg, I remember well your first visit to Capitol Hill back in 2010.
Control Houston, please call station for voice check.
All right, station, this is Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook. Can you hear me okay?
It's a pleasure to talk with you today.
Great to talk to you guys too. And is astronaut ice cream a real thing?
Are the allegations true that you're secretly a lizard? I'm gonna have to go with no on that. I am not a lizard.
And it makes it even harder for him to beat these allegations when he explains to Joe Rogan how basic human conversations work, as if he just made a...
I really think the worst thing he does is like open his eyes, like, oh, he like, a lot of people do this. I don't know why people coach him to do it, but like I've noticed my dad does it now. Like my dad, when he's on video and stuff like that, he'll like open his eyes really big, and it's like he's smiling and stuff, just waiting to like have it, we cut the video and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey bro, that doesn't look natural. Like, don't do that. It's kind of funny. Like a lot of the older generation, he's not a boomer, so I don't know why he does it. I haven't really seen anybody young do it at all. It's kind of eerie.
Revolutionary discovery.
Your kind of subconscious kicks in. You start thinking about the topic. So it's like you might not actually have the thing that you want to say until like 5 minutes later. Right. And like when we started this conversation, I think like the first few minutes were just kind of slow. It's like warming up. Like, I'm like, okay, kind of like downloading into my memory. Like how am I going to like just explain these different things? But it's I just think that's sort of how people
that's very
work.
relatable.
We do
honestly.
know that CEOs transform their image and speech to be kind of robotic on purpose.
Yeah.
They do rigorous media training because one wrong answer, one wrong word, even a wrong display of emotion can result in overwhelming bad publicity, which could drive down the stock price.
Yeah, like when Elon smoked a fucking blunt on Joe Rogan's podcast and then his stock plummeted.
And upset shareholders.
Went
but
back
Mark's
up, though.
robotic demeanor has generated a vast range of conflicting opinions about him, with many believing that he is a power-hungry oligarch looking to destroy human civilization.
That's not
but to
good.
understand where those suspicions came from, we must dive into the dark history of Facebook's origins. Facebook was a stolen idea. In 2004, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss wanted to create a website for Harvard students.
I didn't know that's what they actually looked like. Wow, they nailed the casting in the movie.
To add people as friends, send them messages, and update their personal profiles to notify friends about themselves. They called it Harvard Connection, which was later rebranded to Connect You, and they partnered with Mark Zuckerberg to build the website. But Mark had other plans. He leaked instant messages to a friend from his college years. Mark wrote, "So you know how I'm making that dating site? I wonder how similar that is to the Facebook thing, because they're probably going to be released around the same time, unless I f*** the dating site people over and quit on them right before I told them I'd have it done." He later confirmed to that friend that he intended on screwing
What the
Winklevosses
fuck?
over, and Mark did exactly that. He built Facebook while delaying Connect You.
I didn't know they had receipts like that. That's crazy. They might have mentioned it in the movie, but they didn't like. I don't remember this at all.
Lying
What
to
the
the
hell?
Winklevoss and
I
not
remember them
meeting
screwing them over, but
deadlines.
not
as if stealing their
receipts.
idea and sabotaging their company wasn't scummy enough, Mark also showed how conniving he truly is, attempting to destroy the Winklevoss' reputation. After he left the Connect You team, he hacked into their server, exploited a flaw in their system, and created another Cameron Winklevoss account. Before Mark admits, "We copied his account, like his profile and everything, except I made his answers all like white supremacist."
Oh,
Mark was
Jesus.
extremely aware of his twisted intentions. He even called Facebook users dumb for trusting him. And your data being in control of someone untrustworthy may not
Wait,
seem
did
like
that
a
just
big
say
trusting
SNS?
him.
I have over. What the fuck? Over 4,000 secured or social. Bro, what the fuck?
And your data
Oh wait, I'm tripping. That would be SSN.
being in control of someone
something
untrustworthy may not seem like a
Dyslexia,
big
I'm
deal,
sorry.
but it is. You or I could go to any data broker's website right now and buy anyone's data for a few bucks. It's completely legal. Big companies with poor security are getting hacked every day,
Maybe it's not.
and your personal information is being sold on the dark web, so spammers, scammers, and identity thieves can target you.
Comment down below what a SNS is. It's not a social security number, is it? That would be a SSN. What the fuck was
If
that?
the government can do something
I have
like
no
ban
idea.
TikTok, why won't they protect you from these similar practices? It's on us to protect ourselves, which is why I use today's sponsor, Aura. Aura keeps you safe online by doing all of the hard work. They will identify
nice.
data brokers who are selling your information, in IDPN features. That will be enough time for Aura to
Look at that. He's got a link to it. So pretty much you can you can bunker down all your information, which is good. I've used stuff like this before. It's not really a scam, but I try to get away from monthly fees. So to each their own. Hit that QR code, man.
find out if any of your personal
14-day
data is exposed.
free trial is awesome
Even
as well.
his Facebook co-founder was not safe from Zuckerberg's path of destruction. Eduardo Saverin was Mark Zuckerberg's roommate, who loved the idea for Facebook. Eduardo invested $20,000 into the company and was paying for server costs, which was discovered through these leaked messages from Mark's old computer. In return, Saverin was awarded roughly a 30% stake in the company. As the vision for Facebook grew, so did the demands of building it. Mark and the other co-founders packed up and moved to Silicon Valley, the heart of tech innovation, to pour their energy into expanding the platform. Meanwhile, Eduardo moved to New York, focusing on another startup called Jaboozle. Eduardo was responsible for setting up the legal structure for Facebook, raising additional capital, and crafting a solid business plan, which he did not efficiently do according to Mark. As Facebook gained momentum, cracks in their partnership widened. Eduardo's distance from the day-to-day operations frustrated Mark, who had started collaborating closely with Silicon Valley heavyweights like Sean Parker and Peter Thiel. Eventually, Mark and his allies devised a controversial strategy. Through a series of complex and ethically questionable legal maneuvers, they
which low-key, when he fucking goes and gets his last check in the movie in Social Network, which is what he's talking about, it's one of the best scenes in the fucking movie. Oh my god, when he's like, you know what, man, I feel big when I'm around you, or because you're scared or something like. Oh my god, I'm butchering it. It's such a good line.
Restructured the company to dilute Eduardo's ownership. His stake in Facebook plummeted from 30% to just about 4% by the time Facebook went public. Jesus. But Eduardo's story didn't fade quietly into the background.
No,
thanks to the dramatic courtroom battles that followed, his own accounts of the events in his book, and the $224 million box office hit movie The Social Network.
So good.
The world had an extremely negative view of Mark Zuckerberg. Mark said that the movie, quote, made up a bunch of stuff that I found kind of hurtful.
You ever end up seeing the film, the Social Network?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. Oh, thanks. And what did you think?
It was interesting.
Interesting.
This is so weird.
I'll take it.
Now, some people look at Mark's past as nothing more than a cocky 19-year-old kid making teenage mistakes, while others feel that this is an extremely concerning origin story for the man who currently has control over the privacy of 3 billion people around the world. Mark has fought relentlessly to maintain an incredible amount of power at Facebook. He quite literally cannot be fired. While he only owns about 13% of the company, he also personally controls nearly 60% of the voting power of Facebook shares, because there are two kinds of Facebook stock.
I didn't realize he only had 30%
shares that Zuckerberg and other insiders own have 10 times the voting rights of Class A shares. Because of Mark's shady past and immense power, the press put a little bit of pressure on him. However, Mark refused to give straight answers, particularly when it came to privacy. Like in 2010, when he was asked a very simple question and began to sweat profusely, panicking for seemingly no reason.
Do you feel like it's a backlash, or do you feel like you're violating people's privacy? Do you feel like you're adequately portrayed?
Jesus, my man is on the
Molly, bro. Because they want to wonder about the person who actually created this thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happened along the way. I think, there were real learning points and turning points along the way in terms of,
I know a bullshitter when I see one. Jesus.
I can't go back and change the past. I can only do what we think is the right thing going forward.
So, before we move off this privacy thing, and I thought that was a fascinating answer.
Okay, you want to take off the hoodie?
I never take off the hoodie.
I know you don't. What's with that?
No.
Girls?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Jesus, the people grilling him feel
what
awkward.
exactly was he hiding?
Wow.
Well, maybe the main driver of his revenue. Since Facebook is a free service, they make nearly all of their revenue by selling advertisements. The surface level business model is relatively simple. The more time users spend on the app, the more ads they can show. Therefore, the goal is to keep growing the user base and keep people on the app as long as possible. But the amount of data that they collect about you in order to show you these ads,
it's fucking ridiculous, bro. the amount of data they have on us, bro, the ads, I will literally be I don't know if it's my phone, if it's Apple, if it's Facebook, or if it's Twitter, or whoever it might be, but it feels like they're all communicating together. They're probably selling all the data together, because motherfucker, I talk about something random on my phone, and you probably heard this before, and then the next thing you know, once you check your phone, oh, you talked about like new hoodies or maybe bathroom accessories, and you've never looked up bathroom accessories, but you mentioned it when you were talking to your buddy, and boom, it's right there on your phone. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on fucking Snapchat, it's fucking everywhere. It's on TikTok probably. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. They're all listening at us. They're 24/7. They're listening to us, and it freaks me the fuck out for sure.
It's not only ethically questionable,
because not just like them like maybe listening but once, like, if you ever saw the movie Eagle Eye, and they had that AI based technology where it was listening and watching everybody at the same time, and all that information's fed into one AI, that shit, my friends, is frightening, because then that's when social credit scores might start popping up, and man, it's very dicey once we go down that route. And unfortunately, the genie's out of the bottle, and we ain't getting that shit back.
It's borderline surveillance. They receive your credit score, your IDs, physical locations, political and religious beliefs, all of your text messages, microphone access, photos, web browsing history. They quite literally get access to your entire life just because you want to use their app, and they want to sell you specialized advertisements.
They also have the ability to add certain stuff to your phone, because if you save stuff from the website as well. So let's say you have a bad actor, you could theoretically, I'd assume you'd be able to upload certain videos and photos, and maybe change the dates as well, so you don't notice it right away onto your phone. That's a great way to black market people, like blackmail people. Like think about some spy shit, right? So working with the CIA or FBI, they're getting too close to something, and you want to put them away. Well, an easy way to do that is to upload some stuff that's not allowed on your phone.
Then again, you did agree to their terms of service, and you do have the ability to opt out. But the practices they use to keep you on the app is nearing psychological warfare. In 2016, a whirlwind of chaos erupted. We had the most turbulent presidential election in history, the Brexit referendum, and billions of people spending more time than ever before online. And Facebook decided to change the way their algorithm worked. Mark wrote in an update letter, "We will also prioritize posts that spark conversations and meaningful interactions between people. To do this, we will predict which posts you might want to interact with your friends about and show these posts higher in feed." Now, the problem was what the algorithm deemed as the most meaningful content.
And that is still a problem to this day. Like, you could have 20,000 followers on Instagram, and you post a reel, and it might only reach 500 people. That's fucking ridiculous, because your feed nowadays isn't just your people that you follow and friends and stuff like that. It's suggested content as well, which I do love on YouTube, but I cannot stand it on Instagram. It bothers me so much. Like, if I want to go to an explore page and go through different little rabbit holes, that's cool, man. I like having it separate. Like, for instance, Twitter has For You and your following and stuff like that. That's awesome. But Instagram don't do that shit, man.
For the most politically oriented 1 million American users, nearly 90% of the content that Facebook shows them is about politics and social issues. Now combine that with an even bigger problem. Political and social issues that made people angry were designed to reach the tops of people's feeds. The algorithm had assigned reaction emojis, including the angry emoji, 5 times the weight of a simple like, according to company documents. This meant that millions and millions of people were essentially trapped in an echo chamber of argumentative content about political and social issues. But it gets worse. A private company with sinister intentions was able to obtain private data from Facebook due to inadequate oversight. Remember those goofy personality quizzes you'd see back in the day on Facebook?
Oh my god, back when I was on Facebook, I remember taking, like, what kind of Jedi are you? What kind of Pokemon would you have? What kind of wizard? Like, would you be in Gryffindor or Slytherin? All that silly shit, bro. I remember taking those all the time, and I remember tests would always be sent to be by my cousins or my sisters or family members or friends and stuff like that. It was, yes, I remember this.
Well, chances are if you took one, you helped fuel political propaganda. Alexander Kogan created an app called This Is Your Digital Life. The app was presented as a personality quiz that required users to be logged into Facebook to take. So not only did it collect the quiz data, but also all of the personal information that Facebook takes from you. The app also accessed data from users' friends without their explicit consent.
I'm not surprised by this at all. I've heard that people that don't even have Facebook accounts, if they have pictures, like say someone takes a picture of me and a couple of my buddies and they don't have Facebook, and they can't identify that they're on Facebook, they're going to create a secret Facebook page of them. Which is fucking nuts, bro.
Kogan harvested information from up to 87 million Facebook profiles and sold the data to Cambridge Analytica, who then created psychological profiles of Americans for targeted political advertising, deep diving into their exploitable traits obtained from Facebook likes.
The Kenyatta campaign, which we ran in 2013 and 2017 for Kenyatta.
And what you have done in the Kenya?
We have rebranded the entire party twice, written their manifesto, done 2 rounds of 50,000 surveys.
Huge amounts of research, analysis, messaging.
And then we'd write all the speeches and we'd stage the whole thing. So.
Oh, 2016. What a year, man. What a year.
Just about every element of.
It's really sad, honestly, because social media, I feel like this election, social media was definitely influenced by it's been influenced by it for a while, the elections, since 2016. But this year I feel like it was almost as if they didn't have like the news reporters and stuff like that on cable and on TV, I feel like it wouldn't even negatively affect the election at all. I feel like a lot of people get their news feed and stuff like that, their propaganda and all, everything from the internet, from either creators or like watching Fox or CBS or MSNBC or whatever it might be on YouTube or following them on some other kind of site. Like I feel like everyone's attached to their phones these days. I don't know why they even fucking broadcast on cable anymore. That's just I don't get it, bro. I really don't.
But Mark vehemently denies that social media contributes to political radicalization or polarization.
That's a nice mic.
Grounding this conversation in the actual research that has been done on this, which by and large finds that social media is not a large driver of polarization. So
bro, the amount of fucking tweets or TikToks that turn the people repost on Twitter of people calling for death threats for certain leaders in our country. I've never seen something like this before in my life. Like I saw a couple the last administration, not with Biden, before that with Trump. I didn't, there was people that would write shit about Obama, obviously, but social media wasn't at that point yet, right? Like it was just cooking. Like Twitter was still like pretty fun to be on at that point. But dude, it's insane, man. It's really insane. And they're like, there's people, I hate the term dog whistles and stuff like that do that kind of stuff and like hint towards it. But there's just people that are like straight up just doing it for clout. It's nuts. And they'll do it in this like live chat shit on TikTok, and then people will be commenting, hell yeah, someone's got to take one for the team, man. Someone's just going to throw away their life. And there's a lot of violent people out there, man, especially on the Democratic side. It's kind of eerie, bro. It really is when you consider, like, people consider, like, the right violent and racist and all these other kind of things. I haven't seen much of that this year. At all, and I feel like I'm pretty centered, so I can judge it, face value of what I'm seeing. And obviously, I have an algorithm feeding the stuff that I interact with and watch, and I get a lot of stuff from the left, and a lot of it is very jarring and annoying. But I like to see both sides of it. But it's very disturbing, honestly. So yes, he's full of fucking shit. It definitely polarizes people. Like, what are we even fucking talking about, bro? Like the whole Luigi situation. Influenced by social media was literally just leaving breadcrumbs on social media. Like, yes, this stuff polarizes people for sure.
The question is, what are the unique phenomena in the different places? And I think for the people who are trying to say, hey, social media is the thing that's doing this, I think that clearly doesn't hold up because social media is a phenomenon that is...
It's not just social media either, because that's such a buzzword when it comes down to the topics like this. It's the internet as a whole. Bro, completely. Like, kids should not be on the internet, in my opinion. You should be 18 to use the fucking internet. Like, you shouldn't be able to have your own IG and Twitter and YouTube. And if you're under 18, I'm sorry. It's just... There's a lot of people, and it's probably not you, but there's a lot of people out there that can't handle the internet, and maybe they don't have the best role models in their life, and they don't get the best advice, and they just wander upon some fucking schizo creator that is a little bit charismatic, and they just go down a very, very dark path. And I think for the best, it would be like, I benefited so much from being on the internet as a kid. I really did. But there was also a lot of things that I got in trouble on, for sure. A lot of, shit talking in school and stuff like that. But yeah, like, kids shouldn't be on the internet, in my opinion, at all. Like, what are we doing?
Pretty much equivalent in all of these different countries.
Now, in all fairness, this is exactly how we would expect him to respond.
If you disagree with that, let me know why.
This raises an even more important question.
I'd love to hear your
thoughts. Is it Facebook's civic responsibility to regulate these radical individuals' behavior? Or is it the user that needs to take accountability for their own actions and beliefs? But is it even their fault if they are being psychologically manipulated by algorithms? Or more importantly, are these politically charged posts even being made by real people?
Oh, fucking boy. And then you also have the whole situation where social media accounts aren't technically a publisher, so they don't have to regulate exactly what's going on the sites because they're not a publisher. And so they get the benefit off of, people's pieces of writing, art, whatever it might be, for free. They benefit off of it, which is very corrosive. It is a free platform, but it is... in so many ways, taking advantage of you.
Yes, Facebook is a private company, but have they become too big, too powerful? 65% of America uses one of Meta's products. Therefore, they have direct influence over 2/3 of the country. This resulted in Facebook getting slammed in the media, specifically blaming them for spreading political misinformation that they believe led to the election of...
You know what's the cure for misinformation? Better information. So once you start to curate misinformation, that's when you start to allow to pretty much mute anybody you want to, which is what happened in 2020 when we had the COVID. Yeah, exactly what I'm looking at this. When we had the COVID-19 vaccine mandate and the pandemic and all that shit. That time period destroyed lives. It destroyed businesses. It destroys people's not just social aspect to their lives, but their psyche as a whole. I know people that I'm close to that it has actually destroyed them because they were so afraid that they were pumped with all this fucking fear-mongering bullshit that they are like, I'm not even gonna go down it because I don't know if they watch my videos or not, but it has 2020, like, we meme on it and shit, but it is one of the most corrosive moments in our fucking history as a human civilization. It really does piss me off.
Donald Trump.
I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service.
So the company invested in a complicated bureaucratic operation of independent third-party fact-checkers globally who are certified through the Nonpartisan International Fact-Checking Network. Unfortunately, this system wasn't deemed to be good enough or accepted by really anyone, but more specifically the US government. So they called Mark Zuckerberg in for a congressional hearing in regards to Facebook's privacy and use and abuse of data. And this could not have gone any worse for Mark Zuckerberg. His robotic speech was worse than ever. He was looking incredibly nervous.
There it is. My boy's drinking the water.
Looking like he had to remind himself that humans have to blink and drink water occasionally. He sat on a booster seat to make himself appear taller. His face was pale white. His eyebrows were non-existent.
He looks like he's on speed or some kind of drug, like, for sure. And I'm sure he used some kind of drug to perform as best as he could in a situation like this.
He had a terrible haircut and there was no soul in his eyes.
The fact that they spent billions of dollars to make a fucking video game service and it looked like this is crazy to me. I forgot all about this launch That is fucking wild. Like we had the Wii. We had the fucking Wii, and it looked way better than this. And it cost the fraction of the price, and it happened years ago. What? This man is going to either build one of the biggest empires in the world will ever see, or he's going to bankrupt the fuck of this company, because some of his decisions are fucking nuts. I'm not going to lie.
He looks like an avatar of himself, and it was creepy. But what he said was even worse than how he looked.
Ooh. Senator, I think as a general principle, I think protecting minors and protecting their privacy is extremely important.
Cap. So cap. The amount of, I'm not going to say, because I don't want this video to get nerfed by the algorithm, but what rhymes with corn and starts with a P, the amount of that shit that still is on Instagram is ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. They just pump that shit like no other. Why do you think the OF community has popped off so much? It's because of a little kid subscribing to that shit with their mom's card. 100%. And there's a lot of gooners out there as well. But I'm sorry, these gooners also had the access to magazines and videos and fucking old video stores and stuff like that. There's generations. This is a generational gap. It's all little kids. It's the same people that are watching Twitch with the ASMR people and the fucking the hot tub streamers, and et cetera, et cetera.
And we do a number of things on Facebook to do that already, which I'm happy to get
and I appreciate. I'm talking about a law. I'm talking about a law. Would you support a privacy bill of rights for kids where opt-in is the standard? Yes or no?
Senator, I think that's an important principle.
I appreciate that.
And I think we should.
Do we need a law to protect those children? That's my question to you. Do you
Yes.
believe we need a law to do so? Yes or no?
Senator, I'm not sure if we need a law, but I think that this is certainly a thing that deserves a lot of discussion.
I couldn't disagree with you more. We're leaving.
Like usual, he couldn't give a straight answer.
No, he can't. Because if he gives that straight answer, it's going to be used against him all the time going forward. And on top of that, how many people are on fucking Instagram and Facebook that are minors? Just take a fucking wild guess. You think, oh, you can't be on here until you're a certain age. Well, guess what? Motherfuckers are going to lie about their fucking age. You think they're going to be honest? They click on a website and it's like, oh, are you 18? Oh, shit, I'm not. Let me get off of this. No, that's not how this works.
Professional corporate question dodger.
Do they provide the same service you provide?
In different ways. Different parts of it, yes.
This way, if I buy a Ford and it doesn't work well and I don't like it, I can buy a Chevy. If I'm upset with Facebook,
Chevy heavy,
what's the equivalent product that I can go sign up for?
Well, there's the second category that I was going to talk about.
I'm not talking about categories. I'm talking about, is there real competition you face?
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
The same service you provide.
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as what you do?
It overlaps with a portion of what we do.
You don't think you have a monopoly?
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
Okay.
So after 5 hours of painstaking investigation, the American people learned basically nothing about how...
To be fair, you could argue Facebook does have a monopoly, because what Twitter does, Facebook does, and what TikTok does, Instagram does. So theoretically, you could argue they have a monopoly. I would like for you to, if you don't think they do, argue that in the comment section below. I mean, yeah, TikTok and Twitter exist, but still, those aren't complete comparisons. Put together, yes, they compare to Facebook, but as a whole, they don't.
Facebook works, what they do with user data, and it did not immediately result in changes in legislation. However, in regards to the Cambridge Analytica scandal, in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission fined Facebook $5 billion for privacy violations. Facebook stole your data, and the government got a payday.
It's tough to be at the other end of that.
What was it like?
Well, it's not good. I think, the thing that I think is actually the toughest, though, is it's global, right? So, and really, when you think about it, the U.S. government should be defending its companies. I do think that the American technology industry is a bright spot in the American economy. I think it's a strategic advantage for the United States that we have a lot of the strongest companies in the world.
But the government can't dictate what happens with it typically.
I think it should be part of the U.S.'s strategy going forward to defend
dog
that.
with no
But it was
leash.
about to get worse. If you thought the world was chaotic during the 2016 election, it pales in comparison to the 2020 pandemic. People were locked inside, petrified of getting sneezed on. The virus death toll seemed to be exponentially increasing, and different information came out every day about the proper protocol to stop the spread.
And when you thought you found someone that seemed intelligent sometimes, they would just get completely deleted from YouTube. It was fucking wild, bro.
Zuckerberg 100% confirmed suspicions that the government was pushing a controlled narrative about the pandemic.
Of course they did. When the Twitter files came out and we saw that obviously everyone was paying to push their shit. It's going to be the same for the Facebook.
While they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like,
this is such a genius move by him. Because he's coming on before the whole Doge thing starts cleaning house. And eventually Doge should get to, well, they're private companies, I guess. I don't know if they'd be able to get to social media accounts. I really wish that Doge would be able to go through them. Obviously, Elon owns Twitter. But still, he's turning heel, right? It's a huge heel turn, and it's really interesting to see him do it. Like, the timing couldn't be any better, honestly. It just makes it so obvious.
We're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is inarguably true.
Now, at the time, if you thought mass censorship was happening, you would have been called a conspiracy theorist. But today, Mark seemingly has the confidence to criticize the U.S. government, specifically criticizing the Biden administration after they lost the 2024 election.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse. And it's like, these documents it's all kind of out there.
This is what "I'm sorry, I want to be on the winning side" looks like.
100%. I would also love to know if he's trying to be such a good guy and he's on our side now, he's on the side of the people and everything that. I would love to know the amount of money and influence that they actually pushed into Facebook, specifically the Democratic Party, because when you look back at the total votes for the presidential election. Man, there was a lot of people that voted 2020. It's actually kind of wild to think about how big of a gap it is from 2024 and 2016. It's kind of eerie because, if you don't want to put a tinfoil hat on and, maybe think that some of those votes might have been fake or whatever, it might be coming from dead people, things that people have talked about. Well, you could think logically, okay, why would it be that? Well, if they did invest so much money into social media, was social media a direct push to get these guys out voting? Like, is that a possible, hypothesis? Yeah, for sure. So it's just interesting. There's a lot of different hypotheses I have about that situation. That's for sure.
Many people believe that Zuckerberg is pandering to the renaissance of private citizens, demanding less censorship and less government control over information. And he's shifting all of the blame to the Biden administration that is no longer in power and being like, oh my God, the government is so corrupt, right, guys? But he isn't just blaming the government. He is also blaming the third-party fact-checking organization he hired for being too biased. This has resulted in a major change in content policy on Facebook.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes.
Oh, I saw this.
Starting in the US. After Trump first got elected,
this is a fat W. When I saw this, I was like, thank God, because community notes is it's like the people get a voice, and I love it. I really do.
In 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
One of Meta's fact-checking partners responded to this saying they used Meta's tools to submit fact checks and followed Meta's rules that prevented the group from fact-checking politicians. Meta ultimately decided how to respond to the fact checks, adding warning labels, limiting the reach of some content, or even removing the posts. This again just furthered the idea for people that he is trying to absolve himself or his
he's trying to remove all guilt, honestly.
His employees of any blame for being a part of the machine used to control narratives, amplify hate, suppress facts, and ultimately divide Americans. And whether or not this is a clever smokescreen or a genuine concern, it is clear that Mark...
That's a genuine concern. I feel like there should be legal action that should be applied to something like this. I'm surprised that people haven't talked about this more, honestly.
Does understand some major shifts in public discourse.
I didn't know it was this
They trust
bad.
the creators and the voices that they feel like are being authentic and giving them valuable information on there. So there's, I think, going to be just this whole new class of creators who basically become...
We saw this with the Kamala election. How many fucking famous people, whatever it be, a musician or an actor or whatever it might be, come out and like, I swear I've never seen so many endorsements in my life for a president. It's just wild. Like, it was like, oh, do you endorse her? Oh yeah, I do. Do you endorse her? Yeah, I do. And when someone's like, I'm not endorsing anybody, it's like, oh my god, you're not gonna endorse her? Why not? It was ridiculous, bro.
I'm the new kind of cultural elites that people look at and are like, okay, these are the people who give it to me straight. I think that's a thing that is, maybe it's possible because of social media.
But why?
It's true. It used to be the three, your three closest friends. That's who you are like. Now it's the three closest or most viewed content you watch or creators you watch. You're probably going to start having tendencies like them as well, which is kind of so wacky in a way, because you're not really even hanging out with them, so you don't even know how they really act. It's like trying to pretend to be like someone in a movie, which I mean isn't a bad thing, but when you base your whole personality around it, I think it's a problem, for sure.
Does Mark all of a sudden feel like he needs to speak out against these issues? He says it's not because of the election, but then immediately contradicts that by saying how they try to make company decisions based on whatever the mainstream opinion is.
I mean, at this point, I think a lot of people look at this as like a purely political thing. It's because they kind of look at the timing and they're like, hey, well, you're doing this right after the election. It's like, okay, I try not to like change our content rules like right in the middle of an election either, right? It's like there's not like a great time to do this. It's,
right. And you want to do it a year later.
Yeah, it's like there's no good time to do it.
Right.
I love that comment by Joe. You don't want to do it a year later because you're gonna get a lot of shit this year if you don't.
No, and whatever time is going on, there's
right when he did it was the perfect timing by far.
It's going to be the good thing about doing it after the election is you get to take this kind of cultural pulse as like, okay, where are people right now, and how are people thinking about it? We try to have policies that reflect mainstream discourse.
Shifting gears after an election cycle isn't exclusive to Facebook.
Nope.
Businesses of this size are always cautiously straddling the fine line between opposing ideas.
When's Pride Month? Is it June, July, something like that? We're going to get a very interesting look this year at how many companies supported Pride Month and pushed Pride Month so much just because they wanted to be part of the crew that was an ally, incentivize, the LGBT, I don't know the whole thing, Q something A, to go and buy their products and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to diss anybody I have friends that are in that, so I'm not trying to diss anybody, but I'm just saying these big companies don't give a fuck about you. They never give a fuck about you. They only care about the money that you spend. And it's honestly a very, very smart way to advertise your product, especially stuff that's like, daily items, for instance, like Starbucks coffee or like certain restaurants or a video game that you might buy, a one-time purchase, like a lot of one-time purchases. It's genius. Now, like services and stuff like that, it's probably not the smartest move, honestly. Like it's good to do it, but it's still not going to like benefit you as much. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who who doesn't support it as much anymore. Maybe he thinks it's a waste of time. It's going to be, I feel like they're going to get a lot of backlash. There's going to be people probably tracking that shit for sure.
Ideologies, doing their best to stay attractive in a turbulent political climate. But many believe that the only reason his perfectly timed shift in ideology is even remotely believable is because of his physical transformation. That this is...
Yeah, the hair. I did think this didn't happen all at once because he started doing MMA. There was that whole thing where he wanted to fight Elon Musk in the octagon, which I really wish that we would have saw. I don't know who would have won, honestly. Elon's a big dude, but if you know MMA, supposedly Elon was training as well. I don't know how much that's true. I mean, especially after the fact that this man lied about being the #1 player and Path of Exile 2. Like, what are we talking about here? This man wasn't fucking training. Like, come on now. Was he even playing Diablo 4? Maybe, because, you click just a couple buttons, but it became apparent this man was lying about his gameplay. It's wild how many gamers hate him now just because of that. And it's something so stupid that you're lying about. I don't know why he did that. But yeah, this video is about Zuck, not Elon.
All a highly calculated PR campaign. Nobody would buy a single word he is saying if it was coming from the empty-eyed, pale-skinned, horrible haircut, and robotic speech Mark Zuckerberg. The last time he tried to relate to us mortals, it made him look less human than ever.
I like racing.
I forgot all about this shit.
I don't know how many of you guys like doing that, but that's, I feel like all these activities, grilling meats,
grilling meats. My man's got 2 fucking smokers behind him, a green egg and then a fucking traditional.
Cars are probably 2 of the most fun things that you can do. So yeah.
So he traded in the prim and proper cut for some modern messy curls, replaced the boring gray shirts for an oversized boxy fit streetwear tee and a long gold chain. But it doesn't stop at the surface. Mark even ditched the sedentary office lifestyle for the action-packed world of mixed martial art.
I don't think he did this out of trying to get people to like him. I could be wrong, but I do think this was a lifestyle choice he made for himself. And I'm not gonna come out and just be like, oh, this man's not a human. He does. I'm sure that he seems very selfish in the way he acts and stuff like that with his company. I'm sure he's selfish about his own body as well, and he probably realized that MMA is a really good way to get a good workout in. And then also having the confidence of if someone tries to ever fucking maybe end your life or whatever it might be, you have the capability to defend yourself is another great thing as well. And yes, MMA culture blew up like wildfire, especially ever since when did he start? I think it was like 2016-ish when he started, maybe a little bit later. So yeah.
Training with some of the most lethal fighters in the world. He often posts his black eyes and injuries, and even says that he would like to one day compete in a real MMA match. Suddenly, he becomes less of an enigma and more like someone you might meet at a local gym, grappling with the same struggles and setbacks as any aspiring athlete. He has expressed a newfound love for hunting. He even vowed that he will only eat meat that he has killed himself.
This man realized that Joe Rogan was massively popular, and he's just imitating him. Oh boy.
And with this transformation, Mark thinks he has you fooled. He thinks that you can't tell that this is a PR campaign.
But when you're fighting, it's like, no, that's like, I think in some ways when people see me competing in the sport, they're like, oh no, that's the real Mark. It's like, because it goes back to all the media training stuff we were talking about. When I'm going and giving my sound bites for 2 minutes, it's like, no, it's like, fuck that guy. It's like, that's the real one.
But why does he need you to like him or trust him? He is nearly the richest man in the world. He has over 3 billion people using his product.
Because the people's voice matters. That's why.
What more could he possibly need? Well, it could be argued that he is only now contributing to the narrative that our current world is borderline dystopian in hopes that those listening will flee to a world that he created. A world that he calls the metaverse. Zuckerberg rebranded the company as Meta on October 28th, 2021. And conveniently, during the heat of the pandemic, he revealed a new plan
I want to make a critique. I hate this transition because it choppies the image with the bigger screen. You might not notice on a fucking cell phone, but like the like eye gymnastics it does to my eyes, it's so weird.
And conveniently, during the heat of the pandemic, he revealed a new plan for an embodied internet experience, explaining it as a way to be inside of or one with the content rather than.
And I can't wait to the day I can actually experience a video game like Sword Art Online. Dude, without the dying part, obviously. I don't want to, you know, if I die, I don't want to die. I die a lot in Elden Ring. I don't want to die in real life. That would be that doesn't sound fun. But the other parts sounds amazing.
Viewing it on
which is not what he has at all.
All right, perfect.
This is the future. Just not
Mark.
there
Hey,
yet
what's
at
going
all.
on?
Hi.
What's up, Mark? Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
In true Zuckerberg fashion, he didn't create the metaverse. He just stole the name to make everyone think it was his brainchild. The metaverse is more of a general description of any immersive virtual world where people can work, play, and socialize.
Oh, so he just borrowed it.
Roblox and VRChat are considered metaverse platforms. However, Facebook's version is called Meta Horizon Worlds, and it's an abysmal failure. Most people think this is just a bad video game with no storyline, no purpose, and horrible graphics. But Mark Zuckerberg genuinely believes that this is the future of human civilization.
I remember when this first launched and people were like, you can buy land in the metaverse. You need to invest money and spend thousands of dollars to buy land in the metaverse. I'm like, it's a digital product. You're acting like it's real estate. You know, there's a thing in real estate, the word, what is it? Oh yeah, the root word, real. One of the, like, what are you talking about? Spending money on fucking on land? Oh, Jesus Christ. These motherfuckers are dumb.
That we will all one day work, socialize, and play in this reality that he created. But it's not working. After investing $36 billion into this new venture, Horizon was only used by about 200,000 monthly users at its peak. Since then, it's been dropping in user base drastically. They got so desperate for new users that in August of 2024, they lowered the age gate to 10-year-olds, hoping
I thought I had bad vision. Imagine if I fucking played VR at 10. Jesus.
to get the unsupervised youth addicted to his platform. But despite VR not going exactly to plan, Meta recently launched Orion, their augmented reality glasses that merge the digital and physical landscape.
Because right now, right now we have our phones, but we're like it takes you away from like the physical environment around you. Mm-hmm. You're kind of like sucked into this little screen. I think now in the future, our computing platform, as it becomes more of like a glasses or eventually contact lens form factor.
My boy is gonna get beat out. He needs to collaborate with Elon if he's really trying to take over the world. Neuralink is probably the future. Like when you think of Sword Art Online, they had some kind of system to tap into the nervous system. I think I said that. I don't think I said that right, but still, to interact directly with your brain. And that, if you truly want AR, that's scary as it seems, that is the way it's going to go.
The internet is going to get overlaid on the physical world.
And if you can get past the big goofy frames, this does seem like really cool technology that has been glamorized in sci-fi movies for decades. But all it took was a couple motivated college...
Snapchat, I think, did this first. I think Ray-Bans has some that actually look really good. I think Google has some. A lot of companies have this stuff.
Students to show the dystopian dangers that these glasses provide.
This can't be a fucking ad. What the fuck? Oh my god.
We built glasses that let you identify anybody on the street. To use it, you just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people...
Bro, why did they use the athletic black guy? What? Was there no backlash for like what?
Glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up.
What? Home address?
On your phone.
Oh, this is me volunteering.
June Lee, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. This photo is great. This is like from.
You're from Bergen County Academies?
Yeah.
Your Korean name is Ju-eun?
If that's what 2 bored college students could create, imagine what a $268 billion company could do.
Yeah.
But the
and also not show you what it can do.
only thing Zuckerberg believes in more than the metaverse is artificial intelligence. Mark dubbed 2023 the year of efficiency, with Meta relying on more and more AI, which has resulted in tremendous layoffs. 86,482 people worked for Meta in 2022. Today, 67,317 people work there. That is 19,195 layoffs, or a 22% decrease in the workforce. But Zuckerberg thinks that
also to keep in mind, when was this? This is 2019. It was 2022. Look at how much of a gap there is from this to this to this. That is a huge jump from 2020. 2020, everyone was locked indoors. The tech industry boomed like crazy, bro. It really did. And yeah, 2022 is about on par when people started laying people off like crazy.
1,317 people work there. That is 19,195 layoffs, or a 22% decrease in the workforce.
It's a lot of industries.
Thinks that this is actually a positive thing for humanity, that they will have more time to be creative.
A lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers. But I don't know. I think that that'll augment the people working on it. So I mean, my view on this is like the future, people are just going to be so much more creative and are going to be freed up to do kind of crazy things.
And despite...
Or they'll be sitting in a tent underneath the underpass amongst thousands of people. Time will tell.
His relentless push for more AI and VR, despite him leading the charge to fuse computers and humans together so that they are one master species, the scariest thing...
The fact that the Quest, you have to have that thing plugged in, like, you can't just be walking around with the fucking... It's just too wonky, man.
The thing that Mark Zuckerberg is doing is spending all of his time learning the most primal human skills. Take one scroll on Mark's Instagram, and he is constantly posting from his isolated island ranch in the middle of the ocean, hunting, fishing, raising cattle, and learning how to...
Didn't someone else have an isolated island? Mav, Jeff, oh, I don't know.
Defend himself. It's almost like he is preparing for a catastrophic event. He spent $187 million on 1,600 acres of land on the island of Kauai. This island is also not dependent on tourism, which means that it is currently self-sustaining and survivable. But even if it's not, he is building a 5,000 square foot underground bunker, complete with its own energy and food supplies. He even shared a video to his Instagram of a massive movie theater built underground. So
the Fallout TV show is coming true.
At least he won't be bored.
You do have a bunker there. Is there something you know that we don't?
No, I think that's just like a little shelter under. It's like a basement.
Little shelter. What are you worried about?
A billionaire who can artificially control the information of 3 billion people is not your friend. Mark likely doesn't want to connect with others in the metaverse, but he does want you and your kids there. And the money that you make for him will be used to keep himself isolated on one of the most beautiful, resource-abundant wonders of the world. He will spend the rest of his days having deep conversations with friends, singing songs to his children around a campfire, cooking feasts for his pack using antibiotic-free cattle that they raised, and fresh produce with 0 chemicals and preservatives. He will...
Must be a nice life, bro. What a life to be filthy rich.
Hunt, fish, fight, and learn how to build things with his hands. He will breathe fresh air, drink fresh water, and enjoy all the precious God-given resources in an age-old utopia.
America,
you,
baby.
on the other hand, will own nothing, live in perpetual debt, spend nearly 100% of your time in the virtual world chasing fleeting moments of pleasure while your
what is this, the fucking storyline from Player Ready 1?
Physical body withers away. Artificial intelligence will operate as an untouchable ruling class, controlling every facet of existence, optimizing society for profit while suppressing what little remains of human autonomy. You will be trapped in a dystopian hellscape, and you will love it.
So it's the plot from Player Ready 1, and also from, what was that one robot movie? Not Herbie, Wall-E. Wall-E, yeah. Good movie as well. That was a phenomenal video. Wow. And I love the outro. The outro is very spooky and great vibes, bro. Great vibes. You know, not really great vibes, but great tone for the video as a whole. y'all like it? I fucking loved it. Patrick CC doesn't miss. If you're not subscribed to him, go give him a sub, bro. Go give him a like as well. Tell him the Ether sent you. But let's look at the comments section down below, bro. Ooh, it's getting late. 4:25 a.m. I need to go to bed. Shout out to everybody. Hope you have a good Wednesday. Everybody watching this, the first date's out. All right, bro hit the GTA barbershop and thought he wouldn't notice, or we wouldn't notice. Yeah, I do like the haircut. There's a lot of things that he's done that I do like. But now the overall arching of his like business and political maneuvering, I do not like that. But his lifestyle it's a nice lifestyle. It seems like it is. I saw this one comment that said Mark is kind of the guy that would get bit by a zombie and walk into a heavy populated area and not tell anybody he got bit. That would perfectly explain Mark. That's hilarious. Jesus. No, I'm not a lizard is exactly what a lizard man would say. He's a poor liar. It's easy to see him lying to Rogan. Yeah, no, the podcast was phenomenal. It was so bad. He's a rich liar. Yeah, he doesn't need to lie often, but when he does, it is damning. Wow. Videos like these really make me think about like the overall direction that we're going as a civilization, and hopefully we can vote for the right people to get the right laws in place, to have the right infrastructure, because the future, the innovation we're about to have in the next 10 years, oh my God, we're never ready for technology to evolve. And if we ever were ahead of the game with infrastructure and laws, this is the time to do it, bro. Like, for real. Like, this is why I like actually react to like political stuff, because I want people to, if they don't normally listen to some of the politics shit, some of it is important to like keep in touch with. And so like I don't like pushing politics a lot on my channel, because I'm not trying to push you in a certain direction. I'm just trying to get your attention on certain situations, right? And it is cool to have the conversation in the comment section below where people disagree and agree and have different takes, and iron sharpens iron. So my name is Trey Swish. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit that subscribe button to join the Ether. We're tracking in on 700 subs, baby. Let's keep on pushing. I'm not the Ether, we're the Ether. So the more the Ether grows, the more we can do cool shit. So if you hit a like, it helps me out tremendously, and it helps push the video out a lot more, and it makes my day. So why not? And definitely comment down below my favorite part, when people comment down below and I see the insight. If you do specifically, if there's specific parts, I should have said this in the beginning, or any future videos, if you put a timestamp in, I'll go back and look at where you're at so I can relate to exactly what you're saying. If you don't, I usually have a good vibe for what it is. But yeah, man, if you comment down below, it makes my day. It really does. And yeah, dude, I'll see you guys in the next video. I think this is the last one I'm going to react to tonight. So it's the longest one. So it's probably going to be the longest one I premiere as well. So yeah, man, y'all have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.